So we're back with another update of what's going on at COP26. One topic that is being discussed a lot is what's called Article 6, which is around deforestation. As deforestation is responsible for a large chunk of historic emissions. One thing that's being discussed is this pledge to work on stopping deforestation. And this is accepted, run by several of the major forest holding countries such as Congo, Indonesia, Brazil. Those are areas where we have the largest problems with deforestation. What's sort of important to note here is that they are not promising to stop deforestation. They are promising to work on stopping deforestation. So at some point, stopping maybe. Will this work? Perhaps it will. But there's also a risk of this being used as some sort of a way of getting funding from other nations to not cutting down their forests. And maybe it's fair for them to get compensated for not cutting down their forest. But there is a complication with that, and that is that if another country pays, say Congo or Indonesia, for not cutting down their forest, there are sort of avoided emissions associated with that, and that is often used, has been used, and is argued for being used as something called climate compensation. The country paying or a company paying, whatever, they get on their book, on their ledger, that they have this negative emission post somewhere else, and thus that compensates for emissions at home. The fundamental problem with this is that it doesn't really work. It doesn't get us all the way. To solve climate change, we have to stop deforestation, and we have to stop using fossil fuels. We have to stop the actual emissions as well. We have to do both. Claiming that we can continue being climate neutral, continue doing what we're doing because someone else is not emitting as much as they could have, it doesn't solve the problem. And this has been tried before in the Kyoto Protocol for solving this, and it has largely been concluded it doesn't work. There is a risk with this deforestation project we're talking about now, that there is a new sort of wave of more of this climate compensation thing going on a large scale, which does primarily delay real action. We need to stop emitting. We need to transform our infrastructure, energy systems, food production, the activities that cause emission. We can do that, and we need to focus on the things that matter. But there is also this, like in the wording of it currently, not a strong differentiation between different types of forests. So you can, for example, maintain the area forested in a place while sort of cutting down natural forests and replacing it with planted forests, a production of forests, which you use for pulp production or energy reasons or whatever. Whilst doing that, you lower the amount of carbon stored in the area because these planted forests store less carbon than an old growth forest does. And also you lose the biodiversity, which is not a climate problem, but it's sort of one of the reasons why we want to solve climate change is because we ruin all these other beautiful things we have, where biodiversity is definitely an important one. And the areas we're talking about here, like Brazil, Indonesia, Congo, these are the most sort of richly biodiverse areas on Earth. And then if you replace a lush rainforest with a palm oil plantation, yeah, you still have a forest of sorts, but it's like a desert from a biodiversity perspective. So that is something we have to be very aware about how we talk about forest areas in these regions.